Hello and welcome to this webinar. Today I will cover a topic of how to start with Wopee.io, specifically how to start with autonomous testing bot we are building. So first, maybe if you are watching through the recording or you would like to follow me during this webinar, that would be useful if you could create your account. And to do so, just navigate to commander or cmd.wopee.io and create one account for you. This might be useful because later you could just follow my demo and you can try it as well. It might be a bit too quick, but you can maybe replay the video later and then try whatever I will show you today. So let me start. As I said, cmd.wopee.io would be the address where you could start experimenting with our testing bot. And let me share now our agenda for you for today. So I will start first with explaining what's our current testing challenges and what is the current challenge in general in testing, test automation, manual testing, regression testing, and so on. Then I will move on to introducing Wopee. I would like to focus on Wopee itself. A lot of previous webinars which we delivered were more focused on more generic topics. We were discussing Playwright, the robot framework, WebDriver IO, and so on. But now today I would like to solely focus only on Wopee.io, even though I will probably touch slightly one of our component, which is the integration with existing modern testing or test automation tools. After introducing Wopee as an entire idea, I will focus on Wopee testing bots. We will start with basic, some hello world type of examples. Then we will move on to more real world application testing, and we will end up with just very quick and short list of features I didn't cover and might be useful for you, so you can explore them later. Then I'll just sum it up, and that's it for today. So I hope you will enjoy this webinar, and let's start. So let's start with challenges or the problem we are focused on to solve, because that's something, maybe this is something why we are dealing with the topic. So when at the beginning, when we start with testing, or I'm in testing industry for 20 years, I remember the times where we start writing some test cases to cover all the regression areas, or to cover and ensure that there is nothing which is failing after the new feature was introduced. So we start building our regression suite to cover multiple functions. But as the scope grew, we found out that we cannot keep up, we cannot handle so many features to be covered in our regression testing. So first, what you do usually is that you are trying to review the scope and descope some pieces or some test cases. So you want to minimize number of tests in your test set to execute before each release into production. Later, we introduce automation, and automation nowadays is pretty mature, and we know that this is the best or the most mature solution these days. But still, there is a lot of challenges, and I think there has to be better option, because automation nowadays is still pretty slow. It's costly. It requires a lot of resources to build and maintain, and not only from capacity point of view, but it also requires a certain skill set to be able to do that. In short, I would say test automation require programming skills, or you need to become a programmer to be able to automate these days. Even though there is a lot of record and play tools, you still need to have certain programming skills to handle the situation in that area. But I believe that we might maybe show you something better. So, but before that, what are the typical challenges when I'm talking to other colleagues or other people in the market? People are complaining that maybe locators are not so easy to find or structure. So we are lacking of knowledge. People are complaining about that they spend too much time on existing tests, so they cannot create new one, or they need to spend maybe 40% to maintain existing test automation, or they cannot keep up with a lot of changes in application, and so on and so on. So you probably could add some more challenges here on the list, and I believe that list could be much, much longer, but I don't want to waste time on this because the reason why we are meeting today or why I'm delivering this webinar today is that I would like to show you what we are working on and what we already built and how it could help you and how you could benefit out of it. So imagine what would happen if you could have some tool with minimal setup or minimal effort to set it up. You don't need to maintain it so heavily, and it works even or at it works with very limited technical skills stuff, or you don't need to write any code. So we focused on these struggles or these problems to deal with them and working on a solution which will help you to avoid all of these potential problems. So our vision is to build a tool which will help you test your web apps by providing simple URL, and we will return back to you test report. So this is the idea behind we are working on, and I believe this could help you to understand what we achieved so far and how it could help you when you will follow me in the next few minutes. So let me introduce Wopee. Wopee itself is not only about one tool or about a simple testing bot. We have a couple of components. So before I will jump on the topic of autonomous testing bot, let me maybe quickly explain what we are working on or what are the pillars we working on. First, we believe that this idea, these small ideas around testing and how we could boost test automation and testing itself are inbuilt in our platform. And this platform consists of a couple of components, but maybe just to make it simple, we are building autonomous testing bots. Then we are working on the integrations to help you increase your efficiency if you already have some automation testing tool. And then we also bring this expertise and knowledge into your team, and we could deliver some customized solution for you based on our existing tooling and based on our knowledge and experience from past. So these are three pillars we are working on, and I will be focusing on the first one. But before I will go there, I will quickly run through all three, and then we will start with couple of demos around the autonomous testing bots. I will skip the demos for testing copilot and AI augmentation or AI testing as we call it. So as I said, the Wopee.io is the platform where we are simplifying your life or testing life by providing the platform where you could set it up all in very simple way. You can set it up easily and then monitor and execute it from there. In compared to other traditional methods, Wopee helps you to start super quickly, and then it does not require too much effort to deal with the test execution and test automation in general. So if we compare or these four activities, preparation, execution, evaluation and reporting and maintenance, in compared to manual and automated tests, our autonomous testing bots could be set up very quickly. You don't need to spend hours or days to get it ready. Then the execution is very similar or same as for the automated tests. We are very similar in compared to manual and automated testing for reporting and assessment the results. And in maintenance, I believe we are so simple as the manual testing efforts. So this is a quick comparison. If I would move on further, the second pillar is testing copilot. In this area, we could help you to do a lot of visual testing these days, and we easily integrate with Cypress, Playwright, Robot Framework, Selenium, and Webdriver.io. We support not only web app testing, we could also handle visual testing for mobile apps, desktop apps, and PDF files. So if you have any specific needs, or basically any image you need to compare. So if you have any specific needs, just this is in visual testing, this is the right thing to go for. And then, as I said, there is a third pillar. This is based on our existing knowledge and expertise, where we are just picking up specific feature or functionality or problem which is on customer side and helping them to deal with that. So this is pillar number 3. If I would move on further, I would like to show you just a couple of examples of this third pillar because it might sound a bit high level. For instance, one of our customers asked us that they are missing or lacking of user stories for already existing functionalities, and they would like to somehow maintain them and store them. So what we did with our platform, we collect all the screenshots and HTML files, and based on that, we generated user stories. Of course, this is anonymized example built on top of our demo app, but just to give you some idea how it could look like, this is one of the things what we could provide to our customers. This is fully automated, and at the end you are getting some PDF files or markdown files with all the details about your potential user stories. Also, it's possible to what we could also provide as a part of this delivery is that we generate test cases out of these user stories, and after that we could also generate entire code or entire test automation projects from the test cases. Of course, this require a few tweaks to be able to cover all specifics and maybe front-end framework special features or caching and all the other things, but this is something what we could offer and deliver. If I would move on further, I would like to start introducing Wopee autonomous testing bot. This is the first pillar I was talking about, and now I will be focusing most of the time on that one because that's sometimes I call it as a flagship or the to be best automation tool for manual testers because there is no coding required. It's easy to set up, easy to maintain, but you will see. So let me move on to start to first demo how we could set it up. So it starts with providing simple URL. And once you provide the URL, our bot crawl your app. And after crawling your app, it generates specific scenarios and report it back to the user via our UI. And this UI is called Wopee Commander. Wopee Commander is a web app where you could set up and manage all your testing by this autonomous testing bot. So how it works? When you navigate to our Commander page from our homepage, you would get this or very similar login page, and you start with logging into the app. You click on any of these buttons, for instance, Google, and then you select your email you would like to log in, and you are in. You might notice that there is no project, so first what we need to do, we will create a project and start analyzing. What does it mean? It means that our bot, we created the project and our bot start crawling your app. It's crawling your app to collect all the data about the application in order to be able to generate the test cases. Once this is done, it usually takes 3 minutes, so we will not wait here. So I'll just move on. And once this is done, you are getting the first 20 executed scenarios which were used to crawl your app. In my case, these 20 scenarios are 11 unique, some are repeated, because what we are generating here are simple one-step scenario. I will be touching the topic of number of scenarios later, but now we just created 11 unique scenarios. Most of them are passing, which means there is no issue spotted by the bot, but some are in status new or unresolved. I will navigate to that specific scenarios which are new, and you might see that, for instance, this one was there was identified status code in requesting the page, so it was not auto approved, so it's not passing, and user could decide whether this is correct behavior or not. In our case, this is a bug, so I clicked on reject and it's failed now. In this case, it's again new status, and I could see that network on the network tab there is no issue, but there is something wrong with the JavaScript, and I could see the JavaScript is failing, that I'm calling some non-existing function. So I set this scenario to be failing, and that's basically it. In this example, I'm having one more interesting situation where after rerunning some scenarios, as I said, it was 20 times run, but only 11 were unique. I found this the visual instability. So the bot spotted that there is some difference between these two on this screen. So in order to handle these situations, I just select this region, then I save it, and next time when I will execute the tests, this region will be ignored. So there won't be any issue reported next time, because this is how the app behaves. In my demo app, I build it in a way that these pictures are always randomly fetched from some external service, so it won't be we won't get always the same visual behavior here. So we need to ignore it and we don't test it. So these are three different validations we are running through the analysis. One is the visual, second one is checking the network or status codes, and then we are checking whether there is no JavaScript failure. If bot cannot find any of these issues, it says set the scenario automatically to be passed, but this is analysis. Once I have this analysis finished, then I can start with testing. So let's move on. And now let me show you how we could test. So after the analysis, to start with testing, it's super simple. The button on the top left side with start testing is the right one to click on. So we will click on this button and start testing. So once this started, then a bot just pick up all the scenarios which were generated and execute them again. In this case, after 2 minutes, I'm getting another test suite created with this T instead of, there was A, blue A for the analysis, and now I have a T for the testing. And you might see that the only 11 scenarios were executed because I have only 11 unique scenarios. In this case, I just re-executed all existing scenarios and I've got some results. In this case, it's not so useful to run some of the failing scenarios because it behaves very similar to the previous one. But what I could see that all existing scenarios were executed, and I could see that it was visually compared, the network was also checked, and JavaScript failures were checked there as well. So after this is done and nothing changed, I am running first regression test. But these tests are still not very good and we will need to keep improving them. So let me now introduce some more functionalities you could use to improve the test. So I would like to pick up the most valuable test cases. And in order to do so, we have something what we call voting or test prioritization inbuilt in the app. So, and how to do that? You just navigate to last, or you can take any of your existing test runs, and you just increase the scenario votes or points or priorities for those you like most. Once you finish with this, you just execute the ones which have the highest priority. And let me show you how to do that. So first I need to analyze all the tests and select the most valuable for me. And then once this is done, I could move on and run the regression test, or I call it regression smoke testing, because as you notice, there is only one step scenarios until now. So how to do that? In order to run the pre-selected test cases or the top voted test cases, I need to expand the start testing, and we will use this option later. So remember that you can expand that and change these 20 scenarios to 3 and start testing the most favorite scenarios. So once this is done, another test run is executed, and instead of running all the scenarios available there, it runs only 3. And after running these 3 scenarios, you might see that the votes are 3, 2, and 1. So the most voted scenarios were executed. I could analyze them. We will not do it here, but it looks like all are passing. So it seems to be working. Usually this is not the case because we run it after some new functionality is deployed. But for these simple steps, this should be enough. So let's move on now and bring this hello world or this baby step into real world. And let's try to run it against some more realistic app. So what are the, I would say, not challenges, but what is the difference between my demo app and real apps? Usually there are at least 2 different things. Most of the app requires some login, and all the testing is, or most of the testing is behind the login screen. And another maybe situation is that we need to accept cookies. In order to simulate this situation, I decided to pull out one specific application. But before that, I am now presenting some interesting bugs which could be spotted visually, because some people react that why we are collecting the screenshots, what we could learn from the screenshots, and these are some examples how you could find the bugs easily from the screenshots. If when it's failing, you could see even the functionality issues using the screenshots. But going back to the app, the real app. So I decided that I will take Tatra Banka, which is Raiffeisen Bank in Slovakia, and they have internet banking demo app, and actually they have both. They have a cookie consent and they have a login screen before you could start playing with the app. So I took this app as an example for our demos. And after login, so you need to fill in the PIN and log in. Actually, the PIN for the demo app is already pre-filled. So the only thing what we need to do is to click on the login. And after clicking on the login, you are getting something like this. So let's set up our bot to test this application. So in order to do that, you start again with pasting the URL, but you are not starting with analyzing, but you are just creating the project. And for the project, we need to set up all these before methods, all these steps. So first we accept cookies. In order to do so, I need to give a name for the step, select the action type, set the locator to click on, and then click on the button Add Step. This is something what we need to set up before we start real testing. And after this accepting cookies, same need to happen for login. But as I said, PIN is already pre-login, so we need to just click on the button and we don't need to fill any data in. Actually, all these fills and clicks and setting cookies could be done here. And once you have it, you just start the analysis from this screen. So we click on save. And after clicking on a save, we start analyzing, and you might notice that the button there is now start analyzing instead of start testing, and you start your analysis here. So bot now starts with crawling the app, and once this is finished, you are getting the scenarios. And you might notice that apart from the steps which were generated, we could see also these before method steps. So it navigates to that application URL. Then it clicks on login. It clicks on I agree, and then it clicks on login. All these steps were executed and it's successfully finished. We collect all the screenshots of the steps and then we keep going further and bot generate the step. So what I could do with this after analysis, of course, it's good to go and navigate through the pages and at least ad hoc check whether the steps are correct or not, whether I'm collecting the right screens. I could click on this button and hide all that before method steps. So the scenarios are then a bit simpler. But you could see that we are still missing a couple of steps. It's just really smoke testing the visuals rather than anything else. So how to improve the test cases? First, what you could do is that you start adding more steps. And in order to add more steps, there are a couple of options. So let's maybe cover at least these two. First, what you could do, you just generate multi-step scenarios. So how to do that? You go to that same area where we have now start testing because the analysis is finished. We expand the button, we click on advanced setup, and once this open the advanced execution setup, we set the maximum number of step to higher number. By default, there is just one. So I set it for 3. We switch the execution mode to the analysis, and then we click on this button, Start Testing. So this might be a bit confusing. It should be Start Analyzing, but believe me, this starts bot in a mode to analyze your app again and generate longer scenarios. So this is one option. Another option is when you have very specific idea what you would like to do. And in order to accomplish these very specific flows, you have another option. And then another option is that you just navigate to the specific test you like, and you could add steps to the existing scenarios. And you might combine these two. So you might generate a couple of scenarios, then pre-select the most valuable for you, and then you can tweak them by adding more steps. So for instance, here I'm adding IBAN, and I'm filling IBAN field with a valid German IBAN number, which could be any. So that's why I said any, and my AI will generate all the locators, all the test data, everything what was required, and it will create a new step in with the draft status. So in order to work with this, what I need to do is that I select the step by clicking on that status and run the scenario. By running the scenario, I validate that it actually works, so I could navigate then. I collect the screenshot, and user need to approve that the screenshot itself is correct. So after running that, I'm getting the new test suite, and there I could see the new step with all the details, including the screenshot. I approve the screenshot, so I have now approved step. And I could now rename the scenario to get some nice name for that, because you could see that we automatically generate the name, but usually it's better to rename it, which is to the name which might be more valuable or more could follow your naming standards. So this is how it works. And you can easily create and rename the scenario. And of course, the typical scenario or use case is that once I create this type of scenario, I want to increase the value, not increase the value, increase the priority, because that's probably valuable scenario. It was written by human rather than our bot and AI. So this is how you could add more steps. You can do it by adding it with our AI step functionality, or you just generate more scenarios by the bot. But that's not all what you could do with our autonomous testing bot. There are a couple of more features, and I will not cover them by the demo. I'll just quickly mention them. So what you could do, you could adjust your setup to test with specific browser and resolution. You could also run your test regularly by setting up a specific day and time frame, like afternoon, morning, evening, whatever. And apart from that, you can also set up some locators to ignore interaction with some specific buttons, like you don't want a bot to be logged out, or you don't want to maybe delete something from your app, and so on. And you can do this ignore areas by coordinates I was talking about. And I explain how this works by drag and drop and save. But you could do the same with setting up some locators. So you can basically set up locators what should not be covered or what should be ignored in a visual testing. And many other functionalities are there, so feel free to join our free trial and explore what other things could be done. And you might notice that this is basically what we are building might be still missing some functionalities. So we are done with demo, with explanation what our autonomous testing bot does or what are current capabilities. But I would like to go back to the three pillars and maybe quickly cover or explain which pillar is good for what. So just to quickly remind, we have three pillars: autonomous testing bot, testing copilot, and AI augmentation or AI testing services. which basically support our customers to increase their testing efficiency and make it easy. And we are helping them to use our tools or make it easy for them to use our tools. So for these three, I would try to explain when these three are good to be used. For that, there are a couple of things like quick pace of releases, and there need to be some testing already established and so on. I would like to talk about the right side of the slide. So imagine that we would like to split that world into two dimensions. One is the complexity of the app, and the second dimension would be technical skill set of existing team. So if we are talking about automation and manual testing, I believe automated tests require certain technical skills and usually work very well with simple apps. But the more complex app you have, the more challenging it might be to automate it. On the other hand, manual testing might cover easier some complex app, and usually it is the preferred approach by the business team because they are missing technical skills. If you would like to draw other three pillars into this chart, I would place them somewhere here. So I believe autonomous testing bot are still for simpler apps, but it's actually automation tool for manual testers, so you don't need to have any skills to start and run it. Our testing copilot, which is integration to the automation frameworks, basically boost your efficiency and improve your automated tests and still require a certain amount of skill set. But we saw a couple of our customers using it in a combination with manual testing teams. So they have 10 automation engineers and maybe 10 more with only manual efforts because they don't have enough skill set, and they could combine these and bring the manual testing team closer to the automation team. Sometimes it's not so strict. There are no two teams, it's just one team, but some team members are not capable to handle all the automation stuff. So this brings them closer and it makes it easier for them to conduct some automated tests. And then this AI augmented testing, this is something where we pull out from our existing tooling some specific code or code snippets or modules or functionalities and bring it to cover some more complex application. And this one require maybe most advanced technical skills on our customer side, but we could cover pretty complex cases. So this is where it fits in compared to automated and manual testing. We believe we could bring it closer to complex and business to the complex apps and business teams, but that's something what it's still work in progress. If you would be interested about some like success stories or some experience from our customers, I believe you could easily reach out these two guys or these companies. They are, I believe, happy customers of Wopee. They are working with us more than 1 year, and they reporting back to us that they increase their efficiency by using Wopee. That's it from the use cases where it could work best. And let me sum it up very quickly. So I believe this could happen. So our vision to take a URL and transform it into simple or more complex testing report could work. And we are not so far from there. Of course, for the more complex apps, we will need to still keep improving what we have. The bot itself works, as I said, crawling the app, understanding it, and then generating the report. And we are offering 3 options how to engage with us. And if you are interested, just scan the code or type in the URLs under the QR code into your browser and find out more there. I'm happy to talk to you if you are interested in more details, but that would be basically it. Thank you for joining me and watching until here. If you would be interested in more details, just reach me out via email, LinkedIn, or book demo with me via our website. Thank you very much for